entrepreneurs that are starting, and it's so old school, I know, but it is about relationships and networking.
Meet Kelly Adels Hess, the inspiring CEO of CompuCycle, Houston's first woman-owned E-Steward's certified electronics recycling plant. Leading with innovation and sustainability, Kelly is redefining IT asset management and secure recycling practices to create a safer, greener future.
In 2014, Guinness World Record for most consumer electronics recycled in 8 hours, 128,699 pounds.
Yes.
I think you're the first Guinness World Record holder we've had on the show, so round of applause there.
I celebrate getting a meeting almost as much as I do getting the account. We have bells. I didn't show you. We have bells in this office. I make anyone ring a bell once we sign on a customer.
What is the biggest piece of guidance that you can offer to women that are progressing through their career and aspiring for more, but maybe they're struggling?
I think it is the relationships and finding mentors. Like, even as long as I've now been in the workforce and world, like, you cannot have enough mentors.
How is it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is Sean Barnes. I want to welcome you back to The Way of the Wolf. We are on site at CompuCycle's facility here in Houston, Texas, with the CEO, Kelly Adels Hess. Welcome to The Way of the Wolf.
Thank you. It is a true honor. So nice to have you here, and welcome to CompuCycle.
So we've already talked about you coming on the show, being a part of our Women in Leadership series. Now, you haven't always been the CEO of CompuCycle. Tell me a little bit about your journey into the CEO seat.
Okay, where do I begin? The journey begins truly. I did a double major in psychology and public relations back in my days at SMU. And when I graduated, I jumped right into the nonprofit world. I loved business development, working for different nonprofits, starting nonprofits, getting them up and going, and really kind of just trying to find dollars wherever I could. Then people stopped talking to me because I was asking for too much money from too many people. So I ended up, though, actually truly, I did anything from AIDS Foundation Houston, I did United Way of Dallas, I did Gilda's Club of North Texas, lots of incredible places. But then I did get married, decided to have kids, and did want to be able to stay at home with them. And when I did, my husband and my father-in-law, I can't believe it's been 27 years now, they started CompuCycle. So to kind of just give you a little history on that, they both immigrated from South Africa in 1986, and my father-in-law was involved in the scrap metal business. So when they immigrated here, that's what he was comfortable with. But what was kind of cool and neat is that he was green before it was even cool to be green, because he saw the reuse, how material could be reused. So at that time, Clive, my husband, was graduating from college, and he decided to jump into the business. And here it is 27 years later. But about 20 years ago, when I started having kids, I wanted to try to use my communications degree, public relations, and try to help market, grow CompuCycle, and did as much as I could from home. But once the kids were in school, I have to say the company had been doing great, but it really was flat, and they needed someone to do business development. So even though I was from the nonprofit world, I decided to jump with 2 feet in and to see what could I do to help build the business and try to really build our corporate IT asset recycling. So what we love to do is work with various corporations in handling their IT asset disposal responsibly, securely, secure data destruction, data center decommissioning. So how could I work with corporations and let them understand exactly what we do? So I really thought, give it a couple years, help my husband build the business, and I'd be on my way then with my next project. And I cannot believe that was 13 years ago. And then 10 years ago, this year it's 10 years, I signed the dotted line and saw the benefit of it being advantageous for us to become a women-owned business. And I was able to grow the business. So I said, okay, I'm signing on, and became CEO of CompuCycle. And it's been a great journey. It's like kind of you and I talked about, it is never where I thought I was going to be. And not what I ever thought I was going to do, but it has really been such a great journey. and it's been our livelihood. And I'm so proud of what we've been able to create, what we've been able to do. And there is no way in shape or form I could do it without having the most incredible management team. Working with a spouse is definitely a challenge. That could be a whole nother podcast. But when it comes to having the right people in the right positions, that's something that we've been able to create over the years that has really, I think, been a game changer for us and is allowing us now to get to that next level. So I really kind of feel like I did get it to a level as a CEO, and now I had to bring in some extra team members that are really helping us to get it right next to the next stage.
So much to unpack there. Okay. So you hit on something that I think is extremely important for organizations and leaders and entrepreneurs, I'll say, to understand. And that is when you are starting a company and you're kind of building it from ground zero, yes, you have to be an expert in this field so that you can get the ball rolling. You have to be good at lead generation and sales and client acquisition, all of those things. But eventually, you have to start bringing more employees into the organization that are experts in their specific field. And I can't remember the exact terminology you used, but basically something around the lines of an incredible management team. At what point did you recognize we need to start bringing talent in that knows more than I do in this domain?
I think when it's that we've now grown to a point where we're so much more than a family-owned business. I never want to lose that that's how we started and that's who we are. But when it comes to now how we have to function and how we need to grow and how we need to get to the next level, it really kind of puts you in a different category and ballgame of how you need to run a company and how you need to handle the day-to-day business, as well as the vision and the strategy of what is your growth plan. And working with a family, like I said, separate podcasts, that can be very challenging. But I think it's that point where you realize you're so much more than that and that you can play with the big boys in the field. And you have to get those right people, though, that have those skills and have the experience from larger companies that have had some time under their belt to be able to really see what can we do to get to the next level? And really from all aspects. I mean, that comes from just business operation, that comes from production, that comes from marketing, that comes from business development. It's so important to have all of those pieces fit together. But I think one of the hardest things and challenges is letting go. That has been for me the challenge of, because I was involved in so much and doing so much for the company, and now seeing people that have their ideas, their strengths that probably are better than mine. And I've got to kind of sit back and let them do what they do best.
It's funny when a lot of people will get frustrated with their boss, their job in corporate America, the big company that they're working for, because they don't have enough control. And they think, oh God, my boss is an idiot. Why won't he just let me do my thing? And so they end up actually leaving the big company to go start their own business so that they have control. And then, you get control of everything. As the business is more successful and grows and scales, you get to a point where you become the nexus, you become the constraint, and you have to start bringing in talent that knows more than you do. And then it gets really fun in that the very thing that drove you away from your corporate job of not having control, to grow my business, now I have to let go of control. What have I done?
Right. It's a battle.
It is. It is a very real battle. Mm-hmm. And that speaks to the importance of, one, building skills in, we'll say, client acquisition, marketing and sales. Building skills in that domain so that you understand what's going on, what it's supposed to look like, and how it's supposed to work, so that when you bring a new dedicated salesperson in, you can size them up and say, does Jason actually know what he's doing, or is he just trying to pull the wool over my eyes? So I do think it's important that you have some foundational skills in place before you start bringing people in. But when you do, you have to let go. You have to trust them. You have to have mutual respect. And that doesn't mean everything's going to be unicorns and rainbows. There is going to be butting heads that occurs, But when you're a smaller organization, it's seemingly easier to establish and build trust and mutual respect than it is at scale.
Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts on
Absolutely.
everything that I just shared?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. And I do think I really try to not use, like, what I try to say when I bring a team on is my goal is I do not want to micromanage. And I want them to bring their ideas. I want them to have input. And I hope what we kind of can bring as that smaller, mid-sized business from a lot of these people who have come from the larger businesses wanting to have a place where there wasn't as much red tape, that they could get things accomplished, that they could have ideas that actually get implemented. That's why I'm bringing them here, because they really, even today with our sales team around this table, it was so incredible. We're kicking off a new website. And I've been really kind of hiding the website, trying to control it, like trying to make sure the messaging and everything is perfect. And today, letting go and bringing it around the table just to get feedback from other people that have had different experiences, that when you live the business 24/7, especially like I do because I live with my spouse who's my business partner as well, it is 24/7. And when you're in it so much, you're not able to see from that 30,000 view down of what can we do to be better? How can this be said better? How can this be shown better? And I really believe it's so important for us as managers and leaders of companies to put trust in the people that you bring on. And there's no doubt you bring people on interviews. When you bring someone on, their interview is sometimes the best thing that you ever see of them. But you have to put faith in behind your decision and really let them have the ability to feel like they are able to make a difference, and let them try things on their own and listen to their ideas. And even if it's not how it's, because that's how we've always done things, which is we've been very guilty of over the years, we really are trying to move forward from that. And I do see that happening, and I do see us growing because of that.
Well, it's this constant internal battle as a senior leader of, to your point, I'm head down in the business for over a decade now, and I know all of these things, and you're coming in from one of our competitors or one of our suppliers or something like that. Okay, maybe you do have a good idea here. And so that is something that I personally struggled with early on in my leadership career, because as you and I mentioned or talked about earlier, I've always been very focused on the technology side of it. And I thought I was God's gift to technology. And so anybody would come in with a different idea. I was like, no, why would we do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. And over time, I had to learn how to let go and think, okay, this is the outcome that we need. I want to go around this way. Brian wants to go around this way. If we still get here, I don't like this path, but we are still here. And that is very challenging for a leader to come to terms with at times. So I think you and I could just go on and on about leadership, but I want to learn more about CompuCycle. So I have a few kind of impressive things that I want to actually broach with you. In 2014, Guinness World Record for most consumer electronics recycled in 8 hours, 128,699 pounds.
Yes.
I think you're the first Guinness World Record holder we've had on the show, so round of applause there. But tell me a little bit about what led up to that.
Sure, and it's funny because it is no easy feat to try to get a Guinness Book of World Records event to happen. That was probably one of the biggest PR challenges that I have ever had. But what it is important to know with CompuCycle, and what I am very proud about, is that we focus on corporate IT recycling. That's how we keep our doors open. That's where we make our dollars, and that's what we focus on. But we also want to have a social side to us, a civic side, where individuals have a responsible place where they can bring electronics, not throw them in the trash, know they're being handled the right way, being processed the right way, their data is being destroyed correctly, and that they know that CompuCycle is a responsible place. And there's not many places that take electronics for free. And people don't, everyone has a drawer, right? Those old cell phones, if it's laptops, cables, you name it. And so it's important for us to have that facility. What's been so great is that Channel 13, KTRK, every year, it's been, I think, almost 16 years now that we've done an annual drive for Earth Day. And in the last couple years, we've actually hosted it here at our facility. And from 6 a.m. now till 5 p.m., once a year, we're collecting material from residents. And it's amazing having a television network behind you because the word gets out. And I am telling you, people are waiting 20, 30 minutes in line every year to dispose of their electronics. A lot of people just don't realize that we're here Monday through Friday. At any time, residents can bring their stuff here between 8:30 and 4:30. We are closed during lunch between 12 and 1, so if you need any assistance, it's much better to come during 8:30 to 12 or 1 to 4:30, just so you can get help out of your car. But a lot of places don't offer that free recycling. So that is just something that we've decided we wanted to do. But in terms of having fun, we said, let's do a Guinness Book of World Records because we could, with Channel 13 behind us, getting the word out there. And every year we're collecting around, if it's 128 to 150,000 pounds of material in one day just from residents.
I'm chuckling. Hey, let's set a world record just because we can.
We can. We do it.
But then also, had I known everything that you just shared, I would have had my truck loaded up with a bunch of old technology. I have so many old laptops that are just have been retired for over a decade, and I didn't want to pay. I'm like, I'm not going to pay somebody.
You know where to find me.
I do. I absolutely do. And interestingly, I think we first connected 6 to 7 years ago while I was with my former employer, and you reached out. And at the time, we had a lot of old electronics equipment that just decommissioned, as many large companies have. And my mindset was, well, I already know this was going. They're going to charge me to take all this stuff. I can't afford to. We're in a downturn. Da, 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 da. So anyways, we stayed in touch over the years, and our relationship continued to ultimately spawn into this, which is fantastic. But let me see. The other thing that I think was important that I wanted to ask you about was this E-Steward certification. First woman-owned business with an E-Steward certification. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes. So proud. There's really not a lot of women in this industry. And so that was another reason why becoming a women-owned business in this kind of niche of what we do really was advantageous. And it is really exciting because there are so many electronic recycling companies that are around. The question is, what are they really doing with their equipment? And I'm not going to lie, Sean, it is a very shady business. And unfortunately, over the years, being in business for 27 years now, we've seen it all. And what's so incredible, and if you don't mind me talking a little bit about CompuCycle and kind of our value proposition of why we're so different than those other electronic recyclers. And yes, we have that E-Steward certification. And I'll go into why we have that E-Steward is because we can. We have a processing facility. So if you don't mind, I'm going to really kind of base it down. But when it comes to electronic recyclers, most electronic recyclers are sorters. They're going through the material, they're seeing what can they reuse, what can they resell, but then there's further downstream. Because electronic recyclers usually are not processors, they're just sorters. They're just going through and sorting. So there has to be a downstream. Now, it's important to use a certified company. So you're going to be either R2 certified or E-Steward. And by the end of this year, we are going to be both. We were Houston's first R2, but because we became a processor, we decided to go to E-Steward because it's a more stringent certification where you are handling all of the product on your own. When you're a certified company, you're responsible to use certified downstreams. The problem is that even if you're being certified is just not enough, bottom line, because unfortunately, you cannot guarantee what those certified downstreams are doing with that material. They might say they're doing the right thing, but it ends up because they have a local facility in the United States, it goes to that facility, but it's really being exported overseas. And you do not want your personal or your corporate material ending up in landfills, landing up on eBay, landing up in the, undeveloped countries. And so the only way to really secure yourself is to use an electronic recycling company like CompuCycle that is also a processor. So what that means is if we're not going to be able to reuse equipment and resell it, in which we give value back to our corporate customers if we can resell it. But if we can't, it's going to go through our processing plant, which I can't wait to show you, where it turns into its raw materials, the steel, the copper, boards, aluminum, plastics, and goes directly to the mills, refineries, and smelters, automatically being recycled. I mean, when you talk about, the kind of the buzzword is circularity, we are the definition of circularity because we are handling it from beginning to end. And you do not have to worry about any material being found anywhere else besides here at CompuCycle. And there's about 1,200 certified electronic recyclers in this country. Only 1% are processors. But what's even more exciting is that CompuCycle is the only one right now, and it won't probably be long, but we are the only one that also has a plastics plant. So we are actually able to clean and separate e-plastic that right now is being shipped overseas, and it's a huge environmental issue. We wanted a domestic solution. So we are actually cleaning, separating these plastics, which I'll be able to show you as well. And what's so great about that is that that plastic is being, hopefully here, going to have a domestic solution. And I can't truly bring up all the details, and I wish I do have it over here. I might have to kind of get something real quick. Okay,
yeah.
Let me just show you real quick. What can e-plastic be made into? Here's a tile. This is all e-plastic.
What?
Yes. And so we are so excited to create these solutions, and we have more coming where e-plastic can be used and be made into items such as a tile and lots of kind of cool other things. And so we're very excited to be the only one right now that has a solution internally for their e-plastic.
This is so freaking cool. Okay, so my head goes in all sorts of rabbit holes here. So this is obviously the plastics component. Do you have the ability to turn any of the other materials into tiles?
So what's great about the other materials is that it's very easy to recycle and reuse because they get melted down and can automatically be put back into the environment. So when it comes to the steel, the copper, aluminum, boards, all of that gets melted down and automatically reused. It's the plastic that there's really not a solution for because you can't really melt the plastic and reuse it because it's too dirty. You have to be able to clean it, separate it, and then what plastic can be reused. And so that's why we're able to create solutions like this because you're not going to just send it to a refinery or a smelter.
Okay, this is freaking, I didn't expect this.
Oh,
this
cool,
is
good.
freaking cool. Now, also, so I'm a bit of a nerd for space, and Elon Musk's company, with their Starship, they just had a massive groundbreaking event where they actually caught the Starship whenever it was coming down and landing. Now, one of the things with the technology on the Starship is they have these removable tiles, which has also been part of the space shuttle program and everything. But whenever I think about their missions to Mars, the thought of being able to just recycle, reuse scrap materials to replace tiles, as we think through hundreds of years into the future, like this type of technology is really cool. Now, you couldn't use plastic tiles on the outside of a shuttle, but
no, but there is
very
lots
cool
of uses.
though.
Yeah. So it's really exciting. So really that's what I love. I mean, yes, we're women owned. Yes, we've been in business for over 27 years. We're truly, I like to say, a leader in this industry. But it's more important for me not only to be the leader of the industry, it's more important that I want to make the companies that we work with better. I want to make them more sustainable. I want to make them more circular. I want to make them know that they can sleep at night knowing that their material is being handled and processed the correct way. And a lot of IT directors, managers don't understand the whole process. They think if I'm using a certified company, it's going to be processed. I don't need to worry about it anymore. And unfortunately, like even I think just this year, the SEC has a new ruling that if you're a public traded company, you have to declare if you've had any breaches or equipment's been found. And that is why really it's crazy that CompuCycle is really the end circle of a cybersecurity plan. If you're going to put millions into a cybersecurity plan for your company, and at the very end, your material's found in some ditch or overseas or on eBay, you've got a problem. And so we want to make sure that corporations that use us realize that they're choosing the company that's going to truly protect them as a company, protect their brand, protect their data. And it's a big difference.
That was I'm actually glad that you went there, because whenever I think through our customers, cybersecurity is becoming increasingly important for all of them, mid-sized organizations, large corporations, for a myriad of reasons. But whenever I think about, okay, these hard drives that are being shipped over to you guys, for example, and while spinning drives are less and less common, but being able to ensure that you have a certification, this drive has been shredded, there is no possible way any of our data could have, and look, IT companies, they'll wipe hard drives and ship them off to be reset, but you and I both know that's not enough. So having that certification of the drive has been shredded, it helps from a cybersecurity perspective, but then everything else that you guys are doing in terms of recycling the materials, there's a tremendous amount of value, because we have seen an increased emphasis on ESG, the environmental and the social and governance, but the environmental piece is so crucial. And being able to have documentation for whatever ESG framework your company decides to go and work through, having this documentation bodes very well. And I come from the oil and gas industry, where access to capital is increasingly difficult if you don't have a formal ESG program in place. And the things that you just described is just one component, but an important component.
Sure. And those ESG reports, that's what I'm so proud of. We have those environmental scorecards. So if you want to see what your company is able to divert from landfill, how much is the reduction of carbon footprint by using CompuCycle for your electronics, that is information we provide in reports. We can show what's been recycled. We can show what's been reused and resold. We can break it down. And then we even have infographics for pretty little pictures, which I know the C-suite usually likes, like how many hours of electricity have you saved? How many trees have you saved? All those type of specifics. And we really pride ourselves on having that information available at our corporation's fingertips that they can use at any time for their sustainability departments.
So in a lot of the sustainability piece is raising awareness and education. Because we've talked a lot about downstream effects, and a lot of times it's like, oh, well, it's off of our plate, we don't know. Well, these ESG reporting frameworks are like, well, we kind of need to know.
Yes.
Okay. So having somebody like you guys that they can partner with is just extremely valuable.
It really is. And that's what I really try to, usually it falls in IT. So this is a hard business too, because who handles this truly inside a corporation? That's half my battle. And then the second half is the value proposition of why we're so different, why they need to change because of our processes and procedures, and which is why I love people coming to tour. So I thank you so much for coming today, because I think when you really see the processes and procedures, there really has not been a company that has come here that I've not been able to bring on as a customer, because once they see how we do things in our process and how secure and safe and responsible we are, it's a game changer.
You queued that up beautifully. You want to show me around?
I'd love to.
All right, let's do it.
Let's
Perfect.
do it. Okay, welcome to CompuCycle. Here you are. This is what I would like to kind of show here is that it is an access control. So only certain people can come from office to warehouse and get into certain areas. So I'm gonna get us into the warehouse. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Okay, so this is actually kind of an exciting place, because this is where we have all of our employees are coming in and out during the day. But what's important is the first thing, they're putting all of their personal items in their lockers in this room right here. We have that third-party company that you might have just saw right here that is actually wanding our employees as they go in and out. Because it truly is security that is the most important thing for us here at CompuCycle, that these corporations are depending on us for their equipment to be processed and handled correctly, and that it stays here at CompuCycle. So there is no material that's coming in that's going to get out without us knowing. We've got 53 security cameras. All of our employees are drug tested as well as background checked. So it's security, security, security. Hence, all of this is access controlled as well. So come on in. Go ahead. Hello. Hey there.
Hola.
Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. Bien. Hola, hola. So this is, you're looking at right now 80,000 square feet of facility. This is considered our refurbishing facility. So what you see here, for the most part, is going to be able to be reused. But the process starts here, so I'm going to show you. Okay, so we have 3 20-foot box trucks that are going around the city every day. We handle clients nationwide. But we also, obviously being here in Houston, we're very oil, gas-based, healthcare-based. So we're at corporations, any industry, all the time. But we'd like people to know that yes, we can collect with our own trucks, but also people can send things to us as well. So we have corporations, and we work with major corporations of all sizes. From when it comes to the ConocoPhillips of the world, the United Airlines, NOV, Oxy, Texas Children's, Methodist Hospital, MD Anderson. All of these are our type of clients because we're the ones handling their important data and equipment. So we're, again, collecting every day, 5 days a week. We're collecting from their facilities. And when things come in, every box has a lot number. So when I know that we're collecting, they get an order number, a lot number, order number. And on that, every box, we are able to then track what comes in. But what's more important is that we put our own asset tag on every piece of equipment because we have an online portal. And on that online portal, at any time, our corporations can put a serial number of their machine, find out when it was disposed, what happened to it, was it, what happened to that hard drive. We have hard drive reports that's going to show you what was the serial number of that hard drive, what was the serial number of the parent machine that it went into, and did it pass, did it fail a wipe, did it fail, did we shred it? So at any time, companies have this indefinitely information in their portal that they can track. So it's very important for us on data-bearing devices especially that we're tracking those and we know where they are. So this is where everything comes in and it's being sorted. And so some companies are going to want to just scrap their material. They don't want us to reuse it, they just want it destroyed. That's good, not a problem. Other companies want us to be able to reuse whatever can be reused and resell it. So that's another option. So then there's also the combination where, well, it's a combination. Some needs to be scrapped, some can be resold. So we've got to decide what are we doing with it. But what's important to know is that order number is showing exactly what it tells us what needs to happen to that material. But with our systems, what's so great is it can't go to the next step because we have a contract in place in the system. So it cannot go to the next step unless it follows the process. So what you're going to see here to the right is what we reuse, and what I'd like to say behind this wall, scrap is crap. Scrap is crap, and it's going to be ready to get, we're going to process it, which I'm going to show you, so just to get it ready so we can take it to next door, which is another 50,000 square feet, so total 130,000. This is 80, that's 50, but we're going to actually then, over this wall, we are going to take all of that next door so it can be processed. and if it goes to the right, we're gonna try to reuse it. So we're gonna go see scrap first. About this area is that we're having to prepare it to go next door to that processing facility. So what has to happen? We need to remove the batteries. Batteries will combust and create fires. So we are making sure that every battery is removed. We're taking any components that can be reused and resold. So if it's the RAM, if it's whatever, any pieces that we can take out that can be actually reused or resold, we're gonna do that here. And then the rest of it is gonna go to that shredding facility and turn into those raw materials. So if you'll see here on this conveyor belt, they are actually dismantling, and you can come look and see. Oh, this is important. 3 materials. Batteries, we do take UPS batteries, but batteries, fluorescent lights, as well as toner cartridges. Those are the only things that we do not process here. But it goes directly to its grave. It goes directly to its final place from here. We just cannot process that material. Everything else, we're taking care of right here. To see the whole line down here, if you want to see them actually dismantling. These look like the meters. So we're taking out anything that we can actually reuse and be able to destroy it correctly. These batteries being reused. Baby. This is baby shredder. You're gonna see the beast next door. So this is just baby. Baby only handles hard drives. So all hard drives are gonna be destroyed here. And all data that comes into this facility and is gonna be shredded right through that shredder. 1,500 drives can be destroyed an hour. And if companies wanna witness it, they can come here or they can zoom in and watch it being destroyed. Which is really cool. Let me just see. I know it can edit this. Unfortunately, this is not good stuff, but any media has to be destroyed. So that means tapes, that means like any type of hard drive, CD drives, believe it or not, anything that VHS tapes, which we don't want, to be honest. We do not want VHS tapes. But anything that has data has to be destroyed. So it goes through this machine. Oh, look, what do you know?
CDs.
And let me tell you, you can find some pretty interesting CDs that come through this door. So you don't want to get too close. Yeah. You never know. But there's always some classics. You got some John Wayne here. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. Oh God, remember this one? Baby Boom. That's a little one. So you never know what you're going to get. But I do have some footage I'll show you that with the hard drives, going into this machine. And like there is not one piece of data that's coming off of the hard drive. Oh, are you going to show us? Yes. Oh, gracias, Juan.
You're welcome.
Muchas gracias.
You're welcome.
So this way you can see the whole process. It's going to come up this conveyor belt. Welcome to go right on that side over there. So this is going to come up this conveyor belt. It's 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 going to come up no data is coming off that baby right there. Like it is completely destroyed. Thank y'all so much. Muchas gracias. So again, it's so important to realize that, again, any data of any form is going to go through this to be destroyed. All right, we were talking about batteries. Batteries are truly our headache and nightmare because they can combust and you have to handle them so properly. So this sweet lady here works with us and she all day is really packaging these batteries. So we have to tape them, we have to wrap them, they have to go into these barrels full of sand to be disposed of, again, the correct way. And again, safety is paramount, so it has to be done correctly. And she is so great and helps us so much. Gracias. You can see like all of these will be destroyed. Okay, so now this is we're talking about what is going to be reused and resold. With us being in business for 27 years,
all these Macs,
incredible sale verticals, because the people know what type of quality of equipment we're providing to them, which means we get good value, which means we can provide that to our customer. So when it comes to monitors, this is the first section we'll come to. Every monitor is going to be tested, turned on, and the BIOS are read, and we want to make sure that it's a functioning monitor, and they're graded. They're AD, but they're kind of like an ADP level. And so people know when they buy a certain monitor from us what they're going to get. Sometimes the B might have a tiny little scratch, but it can be sold. So our sale verticals, one of our biggest sale verticals is school districts all across the country. They can buy 3 refurbished computers for the price of 1, and we sell with a new warranty. So for schools, it's really important, but we also have resellers, wholesalers. We export only full working material. So we have all different sale verticals that we focus, that we sell to. Corporations do buy some from us, but most times corporations are wanting to refresh and buy new every 3 to 5 years. But I always encourage our customers, if they're needing something, definitely give us a call because there's a chance we have it. But you can see we don't sell individually, we sell in bulk. So all of these are the monitors we were talking about. These are all being prepared now to sell. And they're going to be sold in container boxes.
Can I go walk this aisle here with the computers?
Yeah. So these are all of our, you can see right here, this is the process that we do for desktops.
Okay.
Desktops alone. So these are the ones that have now been processed and they're ready to be sold.
Okay.
Just be careful right there. So this is inventory, but with our sales channels, if any of this material is ready to go and be sold.
All right, that is a lot of computers that they have here. So if y'all need computer equipment, this is the place to come.
All right. And when I say safety is important to us, it's for our employees as well. You can see there's no dust in this facility. We have a dust extractor, so we're taking all dust away from the material that comes in before it gets processed. And we have the big ass fans when it's warm. It's very important for us to have a comfortable environment for our employees because they work hard. All of them work so hard back here. So what they do on desktops, they do on laptops, and it's quieter in there. So let's go here. Okay, welcome into this part of the facility. So what's so great and what's important, because I know we talked about hard drive destruction. There's no doubt shredding that material, there is nothing coming off those drives. But because we are a certified company that does DoD, Department of Defense wiping, you can erase your drives. We can erase those. And what's so important about that is that if drives are left in the machines, corporations can get more value back for those machines if they have their hard drives in them. But we get a lot of loose hard drives. So they're actually being tested here and completely wiped, or if they fail for any reason, they're gonna get this X. They cannot be reused, and they're gonna go directly back to that baby shredder to be taken care of. But these now are being tested, and once they pass, they go on this shelf and they're ready to be reused in other systems. And again, it's important to know, because we use the 3 wipe pass, we can do 1 wipe, 3 pass. 7 is not really existent anymore, but we do the Department of Defense wipe, so everything is being taken off these drives. And what's really exciting over here is that we handle data center decommissioning, floor to ceiling. So we send our own teams nationally all over the country, and we're able to decommission all of their networking equipment. And we also get great value back on networking equipment because it does have so much value. So we love data center decom projects because we're so good at it. And what's great here is that we've got tablets. Obviously with schools, we get a lot of Chromebooks, but we have a whole system here where we're able to wipe. And what's kind of also another differentiator with CompuCycle is that we have a system where we're able to, with your iPhones, if they're iCloud locked, there is no way to get that data. But we have a way to actually dismantle it. We have a heating system. So we dismantle the phones, we take out the battery, and then we're actually able to shred them. So for a lot of IT, electronic recycling companies, they're just sending those phones, data or not, and they're just being sent somewhere. Mm-hmm. With us, you know that it's being actually destroyed. Hola, hola. This is all of our data center decommissioning center here. And here's a ton of tablets. But this is where it gets exciting because it's probably our biggest piece when it comes to laptops. So incredible teams here. They all have their own bench where they're actually plugging in their systems. And every time you see those yellow cords, that's where also the hard drives are being wiped. So when they're plugging these in, it's reading the BIOS, it's getting every piece of information off this machine, from an asset tag to a serial number to a model number. And again, that hard drive report, which is going to show that serial number of the hard drive, or that's matching with the serial number of its parent machine. And we're able to show that report of what happened to that drive. And all of that happens here. But you can see that they're testing them, they're turning them on, if they need to be fixed, if they have a cracked screen, whatever it is. And again, it's a grading scale, and that's a ABCD. And all of them have their own sale channels. But it's actually really an interesting fact is that during COVID, I was down to 4 boxes of laptops. Like, it looked like just like this. But as you can see, and we're actually doing, this is, I have to admit, kind of empty for us. I do not. This is, again, we're just doing lots of refurbishing and whatever we can reuse. And again, if it can't be reused, it's going to go to where you first saw it. So then we dismantle it and it goes to scrap. This area over here, these women are amazing. They're cleaning the laptops. So after the laptops get tested and processed and that we can be reused, they're cleaning them so they are brand new. If we have to put new skins on them, whatever, and then they're being put behind this door here where they're inventoried and ready, like you saw for the desktops, they're ready for sale. And this is the area, so with the school districts I tell you that we work with, or if we sell equipment anytime it's not working, they send it back to us, we fix it, we send a replacement, or we fix it. And this is where that happens. All right, save your camera, we're gonna walk.
All right.
But I want you to see, copiers are going up as this whole piece. Toner cartridges, paper, everything's out. But the machine itself is going up this conveyor belt. But then comes to the magic. So there's the first shredder. This is the first shredder. Look how it's coming out into its pieces. And then you come closer, you're going to see the steel popping up to a magnet.
You and your family have built an incredible facility here, being able to see all the different things. So I guess I should have known, but I wasn't really factoring in all of the things that you do from an enterprise perspective, the switches, the firewalls. I think I saw some blade chassis and SANs and like a lot of actually data center infrastructure. I was thinking desktops, laptops, iPad, cell phones, things like that. I have a lot of stuff that I need to bring from my house here, which is great because it's been sitting in closets for years. I keep telling myself, you know what, I'm going to sell it one day. It's not going to happen. I'm just going to bring it here.
You know where to find me. Welcome anytime.
So you also talked us through your expansion. You weren't always in this facility. You were down the road. You moved into this facility, and then a year after that decided to say, hey, let's also get the facility next door and expand. So you had very rapid expansion in a short period of time. Tell me a little bit around the stressors associated with that rapid expansion.
Financial. No, it was definitely a big adjustment for us to be able to bite the bullet, to be able to say, we knew that we were growing out of our other facility down the street that was 40,000 square feet. So this opportunity down the street came open, 80,000 square feet. It was exactly kind of what we needed. But at the same time, when we realized the importance of becoming a processor, next door also came up for sale. And it was too good of an opportunity at that point, even though we didn't have the equipment ready for the shredder, which is a whole process in itself to be able to build and bring and make it start working. But we knew it was the right thing to do. So it was our management team really put our heads together and said, like, for the future of this company, and kind of like you and I were talking about, it really is so much about the sustainability over the profitability, doing the right thing. And both with the shredding facility, which really has been to a financial benefit for us now, almost 4 years later of it being in action. But now with the plastics plant being a little bit more of a challenge in how we're handling and going to move forward with the plastics, it is about doing the right thing. So I really believe as a management team that we're all behind being, when I say that we are the most sustainable and most responsible for E-Cycler.
What is the biggest piece of guidance that you can offer to entrepreneurs or business leaders that are at that inflection point of, we need to grow, we have kind of, our revenue has flatlined like a table, and we're going to have to do this thing, and it's going to crush our margins for a little while. How do you make that decision?
I wish I was better at it. I would say taking big risks has never been kind of my forte. I would say definitely more on the conservative side and financially responsible side. But if you're going to look again, take yourself out of the everyday business and take that 30,000 view down to where is it you want to go, and to know that the only way that you're going to get there is by taking these next steps, so that you can have a foot up in the industry, so you can be doing the right thing. I think it's just taking risk, and you have to be responsible about it. And thank goodness that we were a profitable company and not working in the red when we decided to be able, that we could go to the next level of growth. So you have to be able to know that, yes, the rewards financially might not be there in the first year to 2, maybe even 3 years. But if you do the right, I'm one of those believers, I am. If you do the right thing happens. And it's kind of the way I live my life. I really try to manifest positive thinking, positive vibes, throw out the positive energy, because it has to come back one way or another. Something good is going to come out of when doing things the right way.
And I think that speaks to the importance of mindset. Whether you're a CEO, whether you're an entrepreneur, or you are a manager at kind of middle tiers in an organization, our mindset is the most powerful thing we have in our toolbox of life. Have you always had that mindset, that leaning into optimism and positivity?
I believe as I've gotten older, I've become a stronger believer of it, just through experience and what have you. But I also, something I haven't talked about that I feel is important to bring up is about people and employee culture and about the value of your employees. And, it's just so important to be able to, like you saw, these people in the plants, they're working their ass off every day. I mean, 8 hours a day, and it's not easy work. And I hope that all of our employees realize their value. But for entrepreneurs that are starting, and it's so old school, I know, but it is about relationships and networking. So it's important to be able to put yourself out there. And because especially now that with the COVID over and with the time that we had where we weren't doing conferences and we weren't seeing people face to face. And yes, it was Zoom calls, but it's different when it's a face-to-face interaction, that it really is all about relationships. And something I think just recently, I mean, here it is after 13 years of being CEO or involved in this business, is that even, and it's crazy to say this, Sean, but I swear to you, high school has come back around full circle. I have so many people that are now so successful in their businesses from my high school days that I really always, I always tried to be friendly, kind, caring, involved with people at a young age. And as young people and entrepreneurs, it's important to keep those relationships as early as high school, college, and, networking groups and going to conferences and making those relationships, I think has been such a game changer for us in the sense of being able to build our business and just to be able to get meetings. I would say, getting meetings is I celebrate getting a meeting almost as much as I do getting the account. Because getting that, we have bells. I didn't show you. We have bells in this office. I make anyone ring a bell once we sign on a customer. And it's important, I think, to have that culture and to celebrate the small successes, which our management team in the past hasn't been as strong at. And as kind of the one leading sales for so long, it was always kind of frustrating and it could be exhausting. So what I really want people to be out there to hear is to celebrate those small successes and to appreciate the work that people are doing on your team and what your employees are doing, because without them, it's not going to happen. And you can't take those risks and you can't build the company. So it really starts just at the basics.
As you were talking through that, I couldn't help but reflect on over the past, we'll say 3.5 years with generally accessible generative AI. This explosion of AI solutions, and we use AI products with the production of the show and things like that. And it is borderline scary how far it is coming. And if we extrapolate out the rate of adoption of technology and people being able to create video and audio footage with my likeness, with your likeness, to impact at scale. Yes, there is definitely value in that. However, I'm leaning into optimism in that is going to get to a point to where people are going to crave genuine human interaction. And so while there is this allure of exposure and opportunity and revenue and all those things, we are humans. And we crave that human interaction. Even for the introverts out there, they still crave that human interaction in some capacity with at least their people. And so I appreciate your perspective on leaning into the people and investing in the people. And I saw as we were walking around, you were speaking to people in English and Spanish and fist bumping and all the things. And that is what makes leaders, not even just leaders in organizations, but leaders in life, is to lean into the people, the human element. And I think that is just incredibly powerful. And when you find yourself in a position where you have ascended the corporate ladder or you have achieved the things that you want to achieve in life, I think we have a responsibility to turn around and say, how can I help you join me?
Yes. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, for what you do and for the work that you do for us every day and the ideas that you bring to the table. I think people just need to feel so much more appreciated. And yes, AI now can do so much and provide so much and give us so much great information, but it comes down, like you just said, to the human, and it comes down to kindness, human relationships, and valuing people.
Okay, so as we start to wind this thing down, since this is part of our Women in Leadership series, what is the biggest piece of guidance that you can offer to women that are progressing through their career and aspiring for more, but maybe they're struggling, maybe they're feeling like, oh God, just almost like wanting to throw their hands up? What is the biggest piece of advice that you could share with them?
It's funny, I'm not trying to sound repetitive, but I think it is the relationships and finding mentors. Even as long as I've now been in the workforce and world, you cannot have enough mentors. And I believe as much as your team, your management, your employees can bring you ideas and things to the table, having those mentors that have been in your position and or similar and or even larger in capacity, I just think can bring so much value to someone and just help, not to be lazy, but it's not to try to recreate the wheel all the time. What has worked for people? What has been made other people successful? But it also too is in finding what your passion is and knowing your strengths and realizing your weaknesses, and then playing on your strengths and replacing people with your weaknesses. And that's where I would just, but I believe people like to help. If I ask a mentor or someone, even that I don't know, but I would love to learn from, that I would love your expertise. And I have to be honest with you, I truly, I would love your expertise just from talking to you from the times that we've spoken. You bring so much value. It might not even be the same industry, but you can bring so much value that could help me grow. And I think people need to take a bigger, more opportunity to have that, to give you that space to be able to grow and to be able just to learn from one another.
I think it's okay for us to be nervous and afraid and hesitant to ask for that mentorship because, I put myself in my shoes over a decade ago and I was afraid. I was like, well, why would they want to spend time helping me?
And you said you were an introvert, which I still don't believe.
Beyond belief.
I still don't believe it.
That's a whole, we do a whole episode on that for sure. But one of the things that I've come to realize is that anytime I would look up and ask for guidance, the response has overwhelmingly been one of, I am impressed that you're asking, how can I help? And, there's so much negativity in the world, which is unfortunate. And I've also come to realize that negativity, that hate only comes from beneath. If you are on your mission, on your purpose in life, and then you reach up and say, hey, I need a little bit of help. I need a mentor through this season of my life. They're going to say yes. And they might not be able to allocate a tremendous amount of time, but the nuggets that they do give,
priceless.
Hold on to them and do everything you can with them.
I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kelly, this has been incredible.
It's been so much fun. I've loved it.
How do people contact you? How do people come find you to bring all of their equipment to you?
I'm actually glad you said that. You can always jump on our website, www.compucycle.com. But something also as a value proposition of why I feel we're different. I give every customer my cell phone. every customer can, if they have an issue, a concern, they have great account managers. But if there's ever an issue or a concern and they need to get a hold of me, they have my cell. I won't give it right now publicly here, but if anyone needs me, they can call CompuCycle and find me, and I'll give them my cell. But it really is important that our customers realize that I value them, I take them seriously, I want to care, no matter how big we get. Every customer counts, no matter what size and what level, but it's just important for people to be able to know who we are and that we're here for them.
Kelly, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad you got to see the facility, and just thank you for your time, and I appreciate your friendship.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for the episode today. We will have all of Kelly's contact information in the show notes. We'll link you to the website, the LinkedIn, all the different social platforms. Go check them out. I know every single one of you has stuff in your closets, stuff in your drawers, just shoved away that you're thinking, I'm going to sell it one day. You're not going to sell it. Just come bring it to Kelly. Come bring it to CompuCycle, and they'll get you taken care of.
Absolutely.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.